The peaceful quiet of a suburban night, shattered in an instant. Tonight, we're delving into a story that is as shocking as it is tragic. It's a case that reveals the terrifying reality of what can happen when the sanctity of your own home is violated in the most brutal way imaginable. We're talking about a home invasion that lasted only 7 minutes, but left a lifetime of scars and a community demanding answers. This isn't just a story about a crime. It's a story about the aftermath, the fight for justice, and the body cam footage that some people didn't want you to see. It was a night like any other for the Miller family. The kids were asleep, and the house was settling into a comfortable silence. But outside, a different kind of quiet was brewing, the predatory silence of those with malicious intent. Suddenly, a window shatters. The sound rips through the house, a signal that their world is about to be turned upside down. Chaos erupts. Armed intruders, their faces hidden, storm into the home, their voices sharp and demanding. The family's initial confusion quickly turns to sheer terror. Every parent's worst nightmare is unfolding right before their eyes. What happened in those next few minutes is difficult to comprehend. It was a whirlwind of aggression, a terrifying display of dominance and control. The invaders weren't just there to take things. They seemed to revel in the fear they created. The family was subjected to an ordeal that no one should ever have to endure. This wasn't a simple robbery. It was an act of pure thuggery, designed to intimidate and traumatize. Every second stretched into an eternity, filled with uncertainty and the chilling realization of their absolute vulnerability in their own home. As quickly as it began, it was over. The intruders vanished back into the night, leaving behind a scene of devastation. The physical damage to the house was nothing compared to the emotional and psychological wounds inflicted upon the family. The police arrived, their sirens a belated beacon of safety in the now eerie silence. Body cams were rolling, capturing the raw, immediate aftermath. The footage documented the shattered glass, the overturned furniture, and more importantly, the look of profound shock and trauma on the faces of the family. This footage would become a critical piece of the puzzle, a silent witness to the brutality that had just occurred. In the days that followed, the investigation began. The community was on edge, with neighbors looking over their shoulders, wondering if they could be next. The police department assured the public that they were doing everything in their power to find the perpetrators. But as days turned into weeks, a sense of frustration began to grow. Where were the arrests? Why was there so little information being released to the public? Whispers started to circulate. Questions were being asked. The family, grappling with their trauma, also started to feel that something was not right. They needed answers. They needed justice. This is where the story takes a turn. The official narrative seemed to be hitting a wall, and the family felt they were being left in the dark. Their requests for information were met with vague responses. It was the body cam footage that became the focal point of their struggle. They believed it held the key, not just to identifying the attackers, but to showing the world the true extent of what they had suffered. Yet, accessing this crucial evidence proved to be an unexpected battle. Why was it so difficult to obtain the very footage that documented the crime against them? This question fueled their determination to fight back, not just for themselves, but for the truth. The fight for the footage became a symbol of a larger struggle for transparency and accountability. The family's legal team filed motions, arguing that withholding the video was obstructing justice and denying the victims their right to know. The process was slow and emotionally draining. Every legal hurdle felt like another blow, prolonging their suffering. It raised a chilling question. Who was being protected? Was the reluctance to release the footage about protecting the integrity of the investigation? Or was there something else at play? The more resistance they met, the more the suspense grew. What was on that tape that was so sensitive? Finally, after a prolonged legal battle, a judge ordered the release of the bodycam footage. What it revealed was raw and unfiltered. The video showed the immediate moments after the police arrived on the scene. It captured the chaos, the fear, and the vulnerability of a family that had just been terrorized. But it also captured something else. It provided details, perspectives, and moments that the official reports had failed to convey. The public could now see with their own eyes the gravity of the incident. It wasn't just a clinical crime report anymore. It was a visceral, human tragedy. The footage was a powerful testament to the family's ordeal. The release of the video changed everything. It galvanized the community, and public outcry intensified. The pressure mounted on law enforcement to solve the case. The footage was shared widely, and soon, tips began to pour in. Faces that were once hidden in the shadows were now being scrutinized by thousands of people. It was a perfect example of how transparency can empower a community and aid in the pursuit of justice. The very evidence that seemed to be buried was now the key that was unlocking the case. It was a turning point, one that the family had fought so hard for. Thanks to the public's help and renewed investigative efforts, arrests were finally made. The individuals responsible for the home invasion were identified and taken into custody. For the family, it was a moment of profound relief, but not of closure. The arrests were a step towards justice, but the scars of that night would remain. Their home, once a sanctuary, was now a reminder of their trauma. The legal proceedings that followed would force them to relive the horror over and over again. This was the long, arduous path of healing that they were just beginning to walk. The court case brought the full story to light. During the trial, the prosecution presented the bodycam footage as a central piece of evidence. The jury saw the immediate aftermath, the terror in the victim's eyes. They heard the family's testimony, their voices shaking as they recounted the events of that night. The defense attorneys tried to downplay the severity of the crime, but the evidence was overwhelming. The combination of the raw video and the powerful, emotional testimony from the family painted a picture that was impossible to ignore. The court was not just a place for legal arguments. It became a space for the family to reclaim their narrative. In the end, justice was served. The perpetrators were found guilty and sentenced to long prison terms. The verdict sent a strong message that such acts of hooliganism and brutality would not be tolerated. For the family, the conclusion of the trial marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. The legal battle was over, but the personal journey of healing was far from finished. They had shown incredible strength and resilience throughout the entire ordeal, transforming from victims into powerful advocates for transparency and justice. Their fight had not only brought their own attackers to justice, but had also set a precedent for other victims. This story is a powerful reminder of the fragility of our safety and the importance of our support systems. The family's journey through trauma was not one they walked alone. They were supported by friends, community members, and professionals who helped them navigate the darkest of times. Their resilience is a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and overcome unimaginable hardship. It also highlights the critical role of mental health support in the wake of such traumatic events. Healing is a process, and it's okay to seek help. If you or someone you know is struggling, please know that resources are available. You don't have to go through it alone. Looking back, the 7 minutes of this home invasion created ripples that have lasted for years. It was a story of brutality and thuggery, but it also became a story of incredible courage. It exposed the potential for systemic failures, but also showcased the power of a community and a family that refused to be silenced. The footage they tried to bury ultimately became the light that exposed the truth. It's a somber lesson in the importance of transparency, accountability, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into a case that is as complex as it is important. It's stories like these that remind us of the strength of survivors and the power of truth. If you found this story compelling, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content that matters. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.